Beginning. The assignment no one wanted. When Commander Rian Voss stepped into Hangar Bay 7, the metallic scent of coolant hit him first, followed by the hum of alien engines that pulsed like heartbeats. The craft, sleek, obsidian, and alive with faint blue veins of energy, was unlike anything built by human hands. And the woman standing beside it was even more so. Princess Tlina of the Vehlari Dominion, daughter of the matriarch, heir to a galactic empire, and commander of the most advanced fleet humanity had ever seen up close. Rian had read the reports. Her people were proud, precise, and nearly impossible to understand. But after the Vehlari joined the Coalition Alliance, joint operations had begun. And now, somehow Rian, just a field engineer and ex-pilot, was assigned to assist the alienprincess with routine maintenance. It wasn't an honor. It was a punishment. He'd spoken his mind too freely about the Vehlari partnership in front of a diplomat. His commanding officer's response had been simple. Then go work with them. Up close. Human. Tlina's voice broke through his thoughts. It was low and resonant, her tone carrying that soft clicking undertone common in her species. You will begin here. She pointed to a circular panel beneath the ship's wing. The plasma stabilizer is misaligned. Rian swallowed hard. Right. Just, maintenance. Her silver eyes flicked toward him. Do not belittle the work. On this vessel, every task binds us to survival. Every touch honors its spirit. Of course, he said quickly, kneeling beside the panel. Still, he couldn't help but think she took things a bit too seriously. The Vehlari ship responded to touch and thought, to the presence of its bonded pilot. It was almost organic, a hybrid of metal and symbiotic biotech. As he worked, he could feel faint vibrations through his gloves, like the ship was breathing. Tlina watched silently, her tall frame backlit by the hangar lights. Her armor, silver and deep blue, shimmered like liquid glass. She looked like she'd stepped straight out of an ancient myth, and yet here she was, letting a human work on her sacred craft. Middle. The ritual no one warned him about. Hours passed. He adjusted the stabilizer, recalibrated the engine relays, and wiped a streak of luminescent residue from his sleeve. You're thorough, Tlina said quietly, stepping closer. Most humans are impatient. I've had my share of engine failures. You learn fast when you're about to die, he replied with a grin. Her eyes narrowed slightly, as though studying him for deeper meaning. Then, unexpectedly, she knelt beside him. Her hands brushed over the open circuit housing, fingertips tracing glowing filaments. Your technique is careful. You honor the bond, she said softly. The bond? Rian raised an eyebrow. It's just maintenance, right? Her expression didn't change. Yes, she said at last. Just maintenance. But something in her tone lingered, an edge almost like she'd said too much. They worked in silence for another hour, and when he finished sealing the last panel, Tlina stepped forward, placing her palm flat against the ship's hull. The veins of energy flared bright, pulsing outward in a rhythm that matched her heartbeat. Now, she whispered, touch it with me. Rian hesitated. Princess, do it. He placed his hand beside hers. Instantly, a soft pulse rippled up his arm, warm, electric, alive. The ship recognized him. He gasped as images flickered behind his eyes. Flashes of nebulae, the endless void, and something else. A vast connection between pilot and vessel, living energy bound by emotion and intent. When he pulled his hand back, the ship's light dimmed. Tlina turned to him, her expression unreadable. It is done, she said. The ship knows you now. Rian blinked. Knows me. Yes, she said simply. It will respond to you as it does to me. He frowned. Wait, why would it do that? There was a pause. Her voice was calm, almost reverent. Because in my culture, she said, shared energy is shared destiny. Rian laughed nervously. That sounds poetic. It is sacred, she replied. He froze. Sacred how? Kleene's gaze met his, her silver eyes glowing faintly. In Vehlari custom, what you just did would be considered a bonding ritual. Between equals. Between equals, he repeated, blinking. You mean like colleagues? Not precisely. Her lips curved faintly, though it wasn't a smile. Bonded pairs share thought, spirit, and duty. In older times it was matrimonial. Matrimonial. Rian nearly choked. As in marriage. Her head tilted slightly, curious at his reaction. You seem distressed. Were you unaware? No one told me touching your ship would make me. He trailed off, searching for the right word. Spiritually engaged to royalty. Kleene's eyes flicked to his trembling hand. You may relax. The ritual is incomplete. Oh, thank God. Until it is accepted, she added softly. Rian stared. Accepted. She looked at him, then really looked, and something shifted between them. You have already given consent by touch. Only I must decide whether to honor it. He blinked, dumbfounded. Princess, that's. Kleene straightened. We will see if you are worthy. The tests of worth. The following days were chaos. Rian couldn't walk through the hangar without whispers following him. The alienprincess had been seen performing a Vehlari binding rite with a human. The rumor spread through the base like wildfire. His commanding officer called him in twice. Both times Rian could only stammer. It was just maintenance. Kleene, meanwhile, treated him differently. She no longer addressed him with the detached formality she'd used before. Instead, she sought him out, at mess, during inspections, even in the training simulators. One afternoon, she challenged him to a flight simulation. The bonded must know each other's rhythm, she said. Your human reflexes will tell me much. I'm an engineer, he muttered, strapping in beside her. Not a fighter pilot anymore. Then learn, she said, her voice a quiet command. The simulator hummed to life, projecting stars and hostile drones. As they flew, Rian felt something uncanny. Her movements mirrored his, perfectly synchronized. When he turned, she was already there. When she dove, he anticipated her trajectory without thinking. Their minds somehow aligned. When they finished, Kleene's chest rose and fell with quiet exhilaration. Your instincts are strong, she said. You move as though you've done this with me before. I haven't, he replied softly. Maybe it's the ship. Perhaps, she said, but her eyes betrayed doubt. That night Rian couldn't sleep. The memory of her voice lingered in his mind, echoing faintly, like she was still there, whispering across a link that shouldn't exist. And then one night, as he worked late on engine schematics, he heard her. Kleene, in his mind, why do you avoid me, human? Rian. What, how? Kleene, you touched the bond. You cannot silence it now. He stood frozen, heart hammering. This is impossible. Not impossible, her thought replied gently. Only unacknowledged. Climax. The Battle of Trust. The next morning alarms blared. Enemy ships had broken through the perimeter. The Vehlari flagship, the same one he had bonded with, was under attack. Kleene was already aboard when Rian arrived. She turned sharply. You shouldn't be here. He held up a toolkit. You'll need someone to keep the systems running.